up.
Nice to meet you, Catherine. Good to see you, Danny. Um, I have to say that I found enough value out of it that this is I did it 2 times. I went through the 12-week thing, and she was doing it again, and I thought, I'm going to do it again, and I did, and now I'm back for this 7-week session. Um, I have to say that um, uh, a little bit like Danny, although significantly different. I locate. Um, uh, I went ahead and made the commitment that I wrestled with it. I knew that I was not somebody who was going to do a good job with journaling. I've done it before, and um, would by the time I got to like the third day of it or something, I was looking for um, can I find a smaller journal, or can I write really much a whole lot bigger? What's my biggest pens? Um, and so I made the commitment that I would show up and I would write every day for the 12 weeks, but I would condense my day or what I was thinking about or looking at to 10 words. I would commit to showing up every single day and I would write, but I would only write 10 words. And that was my setting like a an achievable low bar that I would be sure that I would honor the commitment of. And so I showed up every day. I wrote 10 words. I've done, um, it became a whole project on its own. I'm tapping at about 1,000 of them now, and I've started categorizing them into categories and illustrating them to make a series of little books out of them and stuff. But it's become a whole, it took on like a life of its own, and
Yeah.
has been really fun. And I mean, that's just my commitment. Okay, I will show up if I'm busy, if I'm
Yeah, that's
distracted, if
the
I'm
tip
not
of the
feeling well.
iceberg with Gerald. And yeah,
And a lot of times I
I'm
write
sorry.
a whole lot more, but I will always show up and write at least 10 words. So that I thought, okay, that makes it easy. I will show up, I will commit to that, and it's done wonderful things above and beyond. So
Yeah, Gerald is taking us all. He's like a comet taking all of us in his trail with some of the projects he's come up with related to this. And you'll learn more about those as we go, because I know he's looking for more writers and more artists for the program that has been born of this. So, and I've been published in 2 publications since January after this. So it's been crazy. So Catherine, can you share a little bit about where you're coming from, why you're here?
All right. Hi, Danny and Gerald and Kate, and it's nice to meet you all. I'm Catherine Gagnon. I live in Quebec, close to Montreal, and I've been an artist all of my life, except the last, I would say, 12, 15 years when I was a nurse practitioner. Then it was more the left brain that was leading my life. But I did some mentorship with Mary-Gail a few months back, and it was just so nice to get back into the creative side. And I own a business. I have a business health and wellness coaching that I've been running for 5 years, and I've been looking forward to manifesting even more of the things in the life and the projects that I'm envisioning, for myself, but also for people. I'm someone who sees things on their global scale. It's like when somebody takes care of their body and their mind, they're taking care of the collective, and vice versa. And this is it's always how I've been envisioning things, like very, very big. And I feel like when I've been journaling consistently in my life, that the big vision was coming together with the small things, almost on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
so I live with my soulmate husband. We spend 6 months a year in Florida and 6 months a year here in Canada. We fly hang gliders. And we recently were thinking, because this is kind of a new setting for us in the last year, and we were saying, we're really enjoying the life that we've been creating. And for me, I'm thinking, yeah, I've been thinking about that for decades.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what to expect. I know that whatever Mary-Gail does is fantastic. So I'm along for the ride, and I'm
Yeah.
along to co-create even more.
Well, that's the thing. All I can say is fasten your seatbelt, make sure your harness is in gear. I don't know how to do all that stuff, but there's something really remarkable about intentionally activating the creative field. And that's what we're doing. The other thing that we're doing is we have created a mastermind automatically through the intention and attention to being together. Even the people who aren't here, I like to reiterate that, even the people who just expressed an interest have helped activate this field. They're in a different place, but it's there. And I'm going to show you guys the magic lightsaber that Catherine's already seen. You like that? Anyway, look what showed up today. I'm like, I got some magic in the house. So, so Kate, do you want to share a little bit about who you are, what you're looking for, what your practice is?
Yeah, hi. Sorry I was late. I slept poorly and woke up late, and my brain's not caffeinated yet. So
You're perfect.
okay, thank you. I'm Kate. I'm in San Francisco. I have had an interesting journey with creativity. I spent my whole childhood, teenhood, doing like lots and lots of art all the time, every medium, everything. And then I just kind of crashed. I used to be in the computer industry. I did user interface design and graphic design. And so I was doing creativity, but it wasn't like personal creativity, but it was at least using that side of myself. And the last 10 years, I've had the luxury to be kind of on a personal development journey, which was a world I didn't even know existed until my 40s. And it's where I know Mary-Gail from. And
yeah,
it's like I even though I was an artist, creative, and a sensitive, I was also raised really skeptical. We're intellectuals. We're here, there's no God, no soul, no connection with the universe and intuition and all that. And I've struggled with that. And I have done so many workshops that are so woo-woo. And I have teachers that are tapped into everything. And yet my mind is like, I don't know, manifestation. Oh, yeah, right. And I've done Joe Dispenza, and people are like in the fifth dimension creating. So I have this real cognitive dissonance thing. And the most recent thing I did, I don't even remember if I told you about this, Mary-Gail. I just did a TED Talk program. I took a class from a teacher who's done TED Talks about how to give a TED style talk. I didn't do an actual TED Talk or TED.
No, that's so cool. That's in the field, man.
Oh my God. Well, then I've got to have you listen to my talk. So, I mean, it was just done on Zoom, but it was like this 3-month program. I fought it. I did it because these teachers know me. They're people I've done a lot of workshops with. They believed in me. I'm like, I have nothing to say. I don't have a message. Oh, so the other thing is sorry, I'm blathering, but I've been searching for a new career, wanting to integrate creativity back in my life. I've been doing like no creative things and wanting to, I have the luxury to like do whatever I want. And I've been doing nothing. I've been depressed. The pandemic was brutal. I live alone and I'm not doing creative processes. And it's like, I can't push myself to even be conscious and do stuff. I used to keep journals a lot. I have trouble even doing vision boards and things. Like I'm just, every vision board I've done looks the same. So I've been in that push pull. But so this TED Talk program, I fought it for like 3 months, twice a week. I'm like, I don't have anything to say. And they pushed me. And I ended up doing this talk about creativity and how we, form these, all our limiting beliefs. Basically, we get boxed in by these limiting beliefs, and how my creativity is trapped inside this box I've created of my limiting beliefs. And they basically said I blew it away and did a fabulous TED Talk. And I'm still like, wait, really? They're like, this could be on the big stage. I'm like, wait, no, I'm not a speaker. I don't know. So anyway, I used to keep journals a lot more. I realized it's honestly Facebook that's kind of killed my journaling, because now I kind of, if I want to say things, I say them on Facebook. I have lots of journals. I keep intending to do more journals. And then I don't. So the whole idea of finding a creativity, journaling, manifestation thing that I can, do, and I don't even necessarily need to believe it if I can come up with a discipline to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to believe in it. It believes in you is one of my things.
Yeah,
Whatever you intend is there, whether you want it to be or not. You thought of it. So
okay.
if the question is in your, one of my beliefs is that if we are able to formulate a question, the answer is it's contained within the question. And going into, I love the scientific mind. I come from a family of engineers, and my mother used to quote the church fathers to me, which means, those philosophers of very rigorous intellectual thought. So I'm very creative, but I come from that place. And this works. It helps to have a system, and the question is like a good hypothesis. If Einstein hadn't imagined what it would be like to ride a light beam across the universe, we wouldn't have the theory of relativity, and physics as we know it would not exist. Our understanding of quantum mechanics and quantum physics would not exist. And to some extent, our concept of synchronicity, which is one of the themes of this, would not exist. So, and that taps into, and again, the scientists will be better at this than I am. I have focused on communication, interpersonal relationships, and art and sales throughout my career. So I come from the thought process, but I don't have the scientific training. Anyway, put aside, when we notice a quark, it becomes either a light beam or a wave, or a point or a wave. And if I am correct, please nod. If I am incorrect, we'll shake our heads and say fact check later. But basically, when you pay attention to that tiniest of pieces of matter that we know of in the universe, it manifests as the thing that we imagine it to be, which can be measured and described scientifically and mathematically. So when we, thank you. Catherine is going to, hopefully we can save the chat also. And oh, I would love for you to share that, Catherine, in a moment. Not just yet. That will be the opening into the slideshow. That'll be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to stop with that and move on, because the universe is telling us that I need to be able to see the chat. There we go. Catherine, do you want to share the Oracle card? Do you have it? We're going to go ahead and move into the, oh, Gerald, did you talk? Danny, you talked? Catherine, do you want to talk and then you introduce, or whatever?
I've already introduced myself, but
Gerald, did you? You did. Everybody did.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay, and it's being recorded for posterity to watch this brilliance. So scheduled part of this program, Catherine will introduce the Oracle card. I will screen share. We will do some journaling exercises and share and wrap. So
it just thanks, Mary-Gail. It just came to me as Kate was talking to just pull an Oracle card. Mary-Gail and I are part of a women business network, kind of continued growth and personal transformation group. And we always pull an Oracle card at the beginning of the meeting, and it kind of sets the intention and the flavor. And the card I pulled is called Sacred Plan.
ooh.
Yeah, and it's from the Angel Guide, Oracle Guidebook. I really like this guidebook. And it says, the message says, this card doesn't represent the plan that God has for your life, more the plan that comes to fruition based on your intentions and your highest good, which is kind of what Kate was saying. And you have been given the incredible gift of free will, and therefore your thoughts, deeds, actions, and intentions are in some way going out into the universe and curating the experiences, opportunities, and energies that are flowing in and out of your life. When this card appears, you are being encouraged to move into a state of surrender, where you recognize that yes, your intentions have impact on the creation of your life, but how those intentions unfold is not down to you, but in the hands of God, the universe. The divine plan is your intentions unfolding in a way that God, the universe, feels is for your growth and highest good. Know that every experience you have been through in your life has been a marker on your journey towards growth and expansion. And your angels are acknowledging your growth now. Then it says, if you're trying to force a plan into action, the angelic guidance is to back down and trust in the greater good. Often when something isn't happening for us, we're frustrated, but that's only because we don't see that our perfect plan is in fact unfolding. When your ideas or plans go wrong, trust that the universe has a greater plan for you. And that greater plan isn't something that has already been chosen for you. It's more of a culmination of all of your life's intentions, prayers, and actions washing back towards you with opportunities and experiences. Call on your angels to light up the path ahead. You may feel that you're facing the unknown, but know that you're always guided and protected. Well, what I hear in this is complete co-creation. And one of my mentor that I always remembered is, she said, you got to know the what and the why, and then the how and the when, that's none of your business. That's what I had for the group.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Sorry about the wiggling. That lightsaber is distracting me, if no one else. That's amazing. And Catherine, would you sum that up in one sentence for us, if you can?
I think I would sum it up in the fact that our intentions, actions, words, and deeds do have an impact, as we have free will, in the co-creation of our life path. So I really see this as a co-creation.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and a couple of things I'd like to interject, especially with varying. There's a spectrum of how I'm not sure how to put this, but I'll just put it however I can. There's a spectrum of ways that we interpret the universe and the way we name divine power, universal power, something outside of ourselves. There are infinite ways of describing that. There are obviously a multitude of religious systems, and we welcome all of them with respect and honor. I also speak of the universe. I do believe in God. I have no idea what that means. I have, I am open to all kinds of things. And if we are capable of completely understanding that as human beings, we may be not noticing something because it's so much bigger than our ability to understand, what's in the universe. Number two, and this is something that I love that my mother did teach me, and it was that angels are messengers from God, and they don't have to be the perceived divine beings with angel wings or whatever it is. They're messengers from God, and they can come in the form of other humans, animals, whatever. They're a way of that divine other communicating with us. So it's just a thought to put into your mind, what are messengers of God for me? And expand that concept beyond the biblical, beyond, any of those things into that other possibility, I think just makes it interesting for me. So I encourage you to do that. So all beliefs and thoughts are welcome. Please express them, because that I do welcome rigorous thought. I welcome challenge. Again, in the Catholic belief system, when they elect a pope, there is always a devil's advocate who comes up with every possible pushback that there is to whoever is voted in as the big kahuna. And I think that asking those questions when something arises can be important. I don't encourage conflict with that. I do encourage opening of thought. The answers are not going to happen here. If we produce more questions than answers, we have opened a multitude of possibilities in our lives. This is 7 weeks, 1 hour a week, and whatever else you put into it. So that's a couple of things I wanted to share. And I've got extra controls here. So share screen. And one moment, and I'll get it to the point where you can see it as I wanted it to be. The current name for this course, as it evolves, is Creative Journeys. At some point, I have envisioned a book. At some point, I have envisioned, I really didn't think of a TED Talk, but it's a thing, and I've kind of had that in my mind for a while. There's a package, so to speak, of ways of conveying message nowadays. So that's something I've put into the field. What I have discovered when I started this course is that my ego got in the way, and I was trying to rewrite one of the seminal best textbooks on the planet, The Artist's Way, which her concepts are a lot of the structure that this is based on. I will bring in a myriad other experts into our awareness. And I do that in the form of a recommended reading list and videos that I'll link you to. I've done, as at least 2 of you, I've done a lot of personal development with. There's a lot of stuff out there, and I recommend that we all share that. There is a Facebook group to do that in. So I will send you the link to that group. The one I have right now is it's a private group with 303 members, and you can share freely there. Just know that that's not the core group at this point. We don't have a large enough, anyway, it's a process. So this is session 1. And we've already talked a little bit about reflecting on our individual journeys. I do want to set intentions for the next 7 weeks and basically commit to supporting ourselves and each other for the duration of the course. Just knowing you all individually and collectively, I know that that kind of commitment to supporting each other is something that's just part of your value systems. So I want you to make a focused intention on that within the group to each other, just, over the course of the meeting, because that makes a difference. It helps solidify the mastermind that we're creating. There are 3 core activities in this particular 7-week course module. One is daily journaling. Recommended in The Artist's Way is morning journaling before anything else. Following that system, as Danny can tell you, is very powerful, very effective. It's not how I always journal. I've had my own process for the last 45 years. So, if you have your own journaling practice, I just ask you that you commit to daily journaling. Later, we'll introduce you to another system in the course that starts in September. And then our weekly meetings. If you can come, please commit to coming. Put this little bit of an hour aside to do this. I am planning on recording it, even with all of the stumbling words and whatever. If for some reason you share something that you do not want to be shared with more than the internal group at the meeting, please let me know right away. even put it in the chat, because I am so respectful of boundaries. I don't want the recording to constrain you. I don't quite know how to edit it, but I will edit out anything that you find you don't want to go further. That said, if you do not want to be recorded, please turn off your video and your and mute yourself, and you will be there, but Zoom in its magic cannot see into your world. You will not be recorded, but you can observe. So that way you can observe live. You can come in and out of the meeting should you choose. So that's just kind of a, to let you know how this is working. And the technical stuff, I'm on a steep learning curve, so we'll keep going with that. And those of you who are experts can jump in and help, and we'll continue in a beautiful way. Yep. So this is a creativity contract. This is the one, it's been modified a little bit by me. I completely honor and cite Julia Cameron as the writer, the original writer of this contract, author. And I encourage you to adapt this as you will to yourself. This commitment is not to us as a group. This commitment is to you specifically. And so you can, as Gerald did, say, you know what, I can't do daily. The daily is really important, but what can I do? So think about what it is you can do. We are gentle, we are compassionate with ourselves. When and if you miss a day or two, over the course of the 45 years of journal writing, I would go for years without, and I, thought, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm inconsistent. I would complain about it in my journal, to the point where I realized when you have a stack of 45 years of journals, some of which you need to destroy because you have too many, you're doing it. You are a writer because you write. So you journal because you journal. So just know that that consistency happens over time, and consider filling this out. It's not something to turn in, but whatever. Just to enter into this, I want to just briefly, I will want us to sit and kind of sit in a quiet receiving place of meditation. We're not using primordial sound meditation, but these 3 questions come from Deepak Chopra's system of meditation that he calls primordial sound meditation. He bases it on an ancient practice where there's a sacred sound that we sound in our minds, and it kind of quiets our thoughts, puts our attention on that sacred sound, and it, helps pull us into that sacred quiet place. The 3 questions he encourages you to ask before going in are, who am I? What do I want? And how can I help? And those are just the 3 questions. So I'm going to lead you into this. So sit comfortably in your chair and ground yourself in whatever, just comfortable. Asymmetric is fine. We're in a receiving mode. I like doing that with my hands open. If you need to be grounded, put your hands down or use whatever mudra is appropriate for you. So let's take 3 deep breaths. Who am I? What do I want? How can I help? as you're ready. Not until you're ready. Go ahead and pick up your pencil, your pen, find your paper. If you're writing in a tablet, use that. And consider these questions. I have 4. You can come up with whatever questions you want. Remember, we're activating the fields of possibility with these questions and suppositions. What bothers you? What consistently shows up where you say, oh, I should do this, I shouldn't do that? Where are the shoulds in your life? What do you love? And what do you want more of? And just write stream of consciousness, consider these as a jumping off point. I'll give you about 2 minutes and I'll just notice the heads. I want you to write as long as you need to. I'll just notice how you're doing. We still have 20 minutes. As you continue writing, I want you to really think about what one thing you would like to focus on in the next 7 weeks. So I'd like you to continue writing for a few minutes and come up with your own questions. And then think of one thing. If you're not sure what the thing could be, continue writing your questions and know that the answer will come in perfect time. This is an unfolding. It's where the questions come. Give you another 30 seconds to a minute. I see heads bobbing. Okay, we're going to feel free to write down your one thing if you've come up with one thing so far in the chat. If you have some questions, write the questions down, remembering that the questions are just as important as the quote unquote answers. That's really important. Also, I'd like to take a few minutes now. We have about 15 minutes, so we'll do a rough, I don't know, a couple minutes each. Couple meaning couple. So, we'll be respectful because I want everybody to share, but I'm not going to do a hard stop. So who would like to share a little bit about, your answer to what bothers you? What shoulds do you have? What do you want more of? Did you come up with other questions? So one thing I encourage you to do is it's going to magically unfold who's going to speak and what they're going to say. But when you listen to what everybody says, your questions might change. You might be inspired to come up with something else. So you've got something written down, but we are moving forward with velocity. And as we pay attention to, we're in a race car and, you got to make decisions as you go. So don't think about what's in the rearview mirror, think about the now or you're going to crash, and listen to what's around us. So who would like to jump in first? Catherine, I am going to ask you just because you're gonna be a good one to help formulate good questions.
All right. So I don't want to go through like all the questions and my answers. But I noticed that there was a lot of shoulds in my business. Like I should be more active on social media. I should have better systems in place. I should have figured it out kind of around the business, because I should eat better. Yeah, I eat pretty good. I should exercise more. Well, I exercise, just kidding. And then what do I love really highlighted what I really love about my life. And then the shoulds that were a lot in the business, then what do I love in my business highlighted what I want more of, and then the questions. So and then that led to the one thing I want to focus on the next 7 weeks, which I put it in the form of a question, is how can I co-create and attract even more dream clients that are so aligned that I'd have to pinch myself to verify I'm not asleep dreaming right now.
That is here now. It is activated in the field with immediacy and velocity because you asked the question. Because you asked the question. You know that.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like there's a certainty that comes. I have known you 5 years, 3 years, a while, I don't know.
Lifetime.
And, yeah, a long time. And I've worked with you consistently, with you as my mentor. And certainly I've been able to share, it's been a very collaborative relationship. I highly respect you. And I know how much you have put into what you do. I know that you have stacked skills that are exceptional and unusual on top of each other. There's no one else who has created the skill set you have. You know for a fact that there are people out here who are hungry for that. They'll magically appear. I don't know how, I don't know when, but they'll magically appear. And it happens with one magic thing that is not allowed. Like, I've learned that just say no is literally something that I have to do to stop those neural pathways. There's some when I have a particular trigger at 2 a.m, right around the end of the month when some bills are due. On occasion, there's a trigger. I'll drink some wine and it'll wake me up at 2 a.m. I will have a literal panic attack. I have learned to tell myself, hard stop, no. I don't do some airy-fairy story. I don't say my Hail Marys anymore. I say no. I turn over and I go to sleep. Boom, and I'm done. Because I know it's a habit that needs to stop. And I'm just like, my word is law. No, this is not okay. So take that should. You may need to be, and this is all opinion, whatever. Thank you, Catherine. No. I'm being requested to, thank you. Just that hard stop is going to be important. We may need to be gentler. That's something you'll intuitively know because each of us is different. If you have a tendency to be very harsh, you may want to consider being more gentle. If you have a tendency to be very soft, perhaps consider swinging into not harsh, but firmer, more directed and focused. That's a place I've had to work on a little bit, to the point where I realize, you know what? I have systems, they're in place, they're good enough. If you're in love with systems, remember that administrative systems thing can be it's not a crutch, it's an area of expertise that you can count on being there no matter what, always to serve you, because it's hardwired in. Some of us, that's the case. Some of us, creativity, like I can't even imagine. Creativity is like breathing to me. It's not even something I say should about, it just is. Some people, building community is an exceptional thing, and pulling together disparate ideas. Some people, they're amazing things. I just know that we have masters in the room, like every single one of us. And I am not saying this just to blow hot air up your hang glider. It's like the updraft is there. You just have to know where to look for it. You jump off where it's going to be, with certainty how to put your harness in. Experts have taught you what to do. boom, you're flying with the eagles, right, Catherine?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like you, at this point, we have about 8 minutes. And again, I do want to leave on time. And I'm going to stop talking because I've talked enough. Catherine, did you share everything or did I get off?
I just wanted to say one last thing, and thank you so much for your kind words, Mary-Gail. They've just really touched my heart. When you said something about the hard no, it reminded me of when you're saying no to something, what are you saying yes to that is so much bigger, right?
Yeah,
And,
thank you.
so
Beautiful inspiration, and that does build on it. And
yes.
that's what happens.
Thank
Because
you.
sometimes the thing that used to serve us, the fear that used to protect me and activate my need to do something, it no longer serves me. I've got a new way of thinking and being. I have a new system in place. It's called automatic paying of the bills. You know, I don't have to remember it. I automatically set it up, you know, so thank you. Yeah, if it no longer serves, then it's going to be gone. So Danny, how about you?
All right, well, so I chose not to answer, I think, the first three questions. I just was inspired to just answer the last one.
Yep.
About, you know, what I want. And what I want is to live a life of ease, abundance, prosperity, and joy. That's simple. And I know I'm free to choose those things. So, and then my intention over the next 7 weeks was the part that I missed during the first 12, which was the artist date.
Yes.
I just really didn't do it. I just didn't. I don't know what the resistance was around that, but you had told me, I think in the last meeting, and you had made the comment, or actually it was in our last in-person meeting, I believe, when you said that with the artist date is where we receive.
Yes.
And that actually gave me chills. So I know that it's the right thing to concentrate on for the next 7 weeks. So that's really going to be my main focus, along with the writing, which I worked through all those 3 questions and things like that. That's why I just didn't want to go there. My energy's pretty good today, so I didn't want to fall back down in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I threw those in because I think sometimes those of us who have been trained in manifestation have been taught to avoid those, but sometimes they need to be faced. But I love your boundaries. I know your intention, and we collectively support you. And I look forward to hearing what your artist date is. I find personally that when I have a deadline and I know I have committed to sharing that in accountability, it makes a difference. So know that your artist date can be short, sweet, and to the point. It will happen no matter what, you know. And I also have a thing about it can happen retroactively because you put the intention into the field. I know it sounds like BS, but you can do something and think it's, you know.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
have to
No,
intentionally.
you got it.
Yeah, I have
Got
to
it.
really think about it and create this because
Yeah.
it's something that I'm blocked. You know what I mean? It's a block.
No
So
longer in the past. Danny, we're going to keep going. I'm sorry, because, you know, and I'm the one that gets cut off half the time, but I'm like, I want to make sure you resonate so much. I am so excited to hear what beautiful thing you do. And Kate, do you want to share? And I just want, you guys have about 1.5 minutes each.
Okay. I really connected with what you said about administrative processes versus creativity, because I keep fighting that. The things I'm frustrated with are like myself and my lack of getting stuff done. And I am doing all this like legal financial stuff. I didn't tell them. My dad died. I sold the family house. I'm doing all this like trustee stuff. That's like I'm being super competent at. It's not my area of expertise, but you know, it's getting done. But I'm the balance between being super hard on myself about I'm not exercising, I'm not moving my body, I'm not, you know, meditating, blah, 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 versus I'm being really hard on myself. You know, it's like I need more discipline to do things, and yet I need more self-love and to stop beating up on myself. So I'm really in that mush. I have all these things I love, and connection and creativity and dancing and traveling, and that I haven't been doing any of them. So I came to a dead stop at one thing. I don't know. Do I need to be gentler on myself? Do I need to be more disciplined? I, definitely need more positivity, more joy, more.
It will unfold. It will unfold. And it's so hard to let go of. And people say, oh, the language matters. It's like, if you're caught up in the mush, you don't know what the language is that you're using. You can't tell because you're caught up in the language.
One of my teachers reminded me recently that I am definitely in the goo,
That's
the chrysalis,
perfect.
the butterfly goo, and that I got to
hard.
be okay with being in the goo and recognize that I'm in the goo.
Yeah, the awareness of it shows a coming out, because generally speaking, if you're in the goo, there's no way you can tell, because goo is like pain. It automatically pulls you in.
And it looks like it's everything. Yeah.
It does. And Catherine, feel free to jump in with any message about pain. Catherine is a master with this. She is a healthcare professional, scientist, blah, 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 and not blah. It just trust anything, she says, and she will know what she doesn't know. Pain brings us in. Goo brings us in. We have to primordially, however you say it, we're hardwired as humans to be able to survive. That pulls us into the immediate moment that is required to activate us into action, to move forward in some way or out in some way to a sense of safety. We have various ways as evolved people who have cultivated it to move forward from that. So you're in the perfect place. And Gerald, you are perfect to help us collect this. Know that this is the container to move forward into the 7 weeks. So we're at 10 o'clock. If you can help us wrap, you're perfect for that.
Well, this is perfect. That I would be at the very end where we hit the wall, because kind of like my 10-word condensation of the writing process, I will condense this whole thing down to a single word, which for me became clarity. And
yes.
Just,
anybody else, put the word in the chat, one word. And Gerald, can you frame that again? What did you just do?
I took all of the things that bothered me, all of the shoulds, all of the things that I loved, all of the things that I want more of, looked at, a little like Kate, you were talking about being stuck in the goo, or just, all these different things that we have so many things pushing and pulling on us. And to me, the one thing I looked at was wanting to reduce and eliminate a lot of these things that are cluttering up my life, that are pulling me in different directions. And I looked at the difference between clutter and clarity, and whether it's physical demands or time demands, I zeroed in on clarity. That was my
perfection. So Gerald is clarity. If anyone has another word, we are 1 minute over, which is just fine. I'll edit out the first couple minutes. And I will save this. I'm going to stop the share or stop the recording. And